I'm sharing with you a matchmaking story today called She Said Yes, because I had a client who recently got engaged. All right, I'm going to share because it almost actually didn't happen. So hang on. Now, one thing I will say in this, luxury matchmaking game I'm in, the wealthier people are, the more high profile, famous, a lot of times they'll actually come up with a different story of how they met because, I don't know, people are extremely private. So a lot of times they won't say they met through a matchmaker, but a lot of times that's how it was. So in this case, the girl, I had originally scouted her for another client several years ago. And she was fantastic in every way. Smart, sophisticated, had her own company. She was just great. She was down to earth. She was everything. So I set her up with the original client that I scouted her for, but it was not a love connection. They actually dated for a little while and remained friends. But off and on over the years, I would set her up when I felt like it was the right guy. She was one of the first women I thought of, But sometimes there would be years that went by and she didn't hear from me. So yes, ladies, it can take a while. So anyway, I get this new client and I was so excited about him. He was fantastic. He was fit. She was very into fitness. They had so much in common and I knew he would think she was beautiful and I knew she would think he was cute. And I just was excited to make the match. So I did. I set him up. Okay. She was the first one I set him up with. Now I will say that almost never happens where I knock it out of the park on the very first try, but such was the case. But actually it almost didn't happen. So anyway, they went out. He really liked her. She was so fantastic, okay, that he thought to himself, well, gosh, she's the first one I met. She's that great. There must be others that are just as great. So anyway, so he did go out with a couple of others, but they were not as great as she was and not for him. And so they started dating. And they got into a committed relationship, and I hadn't heard from him in a couple months when all of a sudden on a Sunday morning, my phone started blowing up. And he's like, Gina, it's over. And I get a text from her, Gina, things just aren't working out. I'm like, what in the world? Oh my God, I thought things were so great. And so it turns out what happens, you guys, is you will always have your first fight. You will always hit that first bump in the road. It is how you navigate it. And it has to be clear communication or things are going to go off the rails and never get back on track. Fortunately, in this situation, they had me. And thank God they came to me. That was the smartest thing they could have ever done. So I get on a call with him and I find out what happened. And it was just something really stupid and a miscommunication. Seriously, most things are just miscommunication. And I heard his side of it. And then I got on a call with her and I heard her side of it. I was able to talk him down from the ledge. I was able to kind of get in the middle and share a matchmaking perspective that was independent of the emotions they had. And I got them on a call. They talked. They got back together. Boom.